Hey everyone, this is Lomi, and this week I'm unpacking a special arrival, which is a Fairyland Feeple65 Ingrid who does not belong to me. There's a little bit of backstory here, which is that for several years I've wanted to get some high heel feet for Firal so she'd be able to wear more shoes, and they had long since been discontinued. When Fairyland reopened the Feeple65 line for this doll, I asked if they would be willing to sell heel feet separately, and they said no. In fact, they said no 3 times, so I came up with the bright idea that since I wanted heel feet and a friend wanted the doll's head, why not run a split order? Along the way, several people asked me what that involved, so I figured I would make a video to explain to newbies who might not be familiar with splits. I record all my box openings anyway, just in case of problems, so it seemed like a good idea. So the quick explanation is, a split begins when someone decides to host a split order. In this case, I'm the host. Sometimes the host wants something from the doll, such as the head or body or a limited outfit, but doesn't want the whole thing. So they arrange to order the doll and then divide the parts between other people who want each part. Everyone pays for their portion of the doll up front, and once it arrives, the host separates the parts and mails them out to their new owners. I had a lot of trouble getting the doll box out of this box, so I cut the bottom open and pushed it out that way. Now I'll open up everything to see what it looks like. This isn't for fun, but is actually the host's responsibility. Once the doll arrives, the split host has to open all the packages and inspect all the parts to make sure everything is in order. If anything is missing or damaged upon arrival, the host has to resolve the issue before the doll's pieces are sent out to their new owners. I've participated in a number of splits before, and I've hosted a few private ones too, but this was my first time running a split that was open to the public. The doll was ordered in July, and much to my infinite pleasure, the day after I placed the order for the split, Fairyland changed their minds and began allowing feet and hands to be ordered separately. Yeah, that happened. But I'd already placed the order, and people were counting on me, so it was too late to cancel the split and just get the parts I wanted. Either way, the doll arrived at the beginning of December, so it took about 5 months. I ordered through Denver Doll Emporium, and they were gracious enough to let me add a second pair of heel feet and 2 pairs of hands to the order, because one of the people participating in the split wanted those parts for a doll she already had as well. She also joined the split to get the open-eyed faceplate and head back, and the event faceplate. Aside from that, the sleeping faceplate, outfit, eyes, and body are all going to separate people. In with the clothing box, there's the extra hands and a pair of heel feet, as well as the event faceplate. The wig is in there too, and nobody claimed that part, so I guess I'll be keeping it for now, or maybe putting it up for sale separately later. If certain items in a split aren't claimed, it sometimes ends up being the host's responsibility to pay for it out of pocket. So there's a financial risk for the host in some cases. If there had been any parts of this doll I would have been unhappy to be stuck with, I probably wouldn't have hosted the split myself and would have joined somebody else's. I check the entire outfit for damage or defects with a visual inspection, which I'll repeat again before I ship it. I open the box with the body and inspect that too. All these years later, I think the Feeple65 body is still one of my absolute favorites. I hope to get another for myself someday, but it's not in my budget anytime soon. The sculpting and range of motion are just absolutely beautiful, and it's always a pleasure to handle one. At this point, I've unpacked everything, and I double check as I start sorting things into piles to go to their new owners. And around that time, I realized something was missing. Something really important, right? Like the heel feet for me, that were the entire reason I organized this split. They're nowhere to be found. The only heel feet in the package were those that were ordered later to go to the new owner of the open-eyed faceplate. Just to be sure, even though I had already confirmed their inclusion in this set with Fairyland before I ordered, I checked the company sales page. Yep, it says there are supposed to be heel feet in the box, so I'm going to have to email Denver Doll Emporium and let them know something is missing. I have to wait for confirmation from them before I can ship anything to the new owners, so I'll have to let everyone know about the delay too. Fortunately, everyone involved in the split was very gracious, and we all had a good laugh about the one tiny thing I wanted being the one thing missing from the box. DDE put in a request for a replacement for me and verified they would ship the feet as soon as they came in, so then it was back to sorting a few days later. When parts of a doll are split, you have to make decisions about who will receive the original legitimacy documents. In this case, the original certificate of authenticity from Fairyland goes with the open-eyed head because it's the most likely part of this entire doll to be counterfeited, and the authenticity of the head alone is often the hardest to prove. Since the doll was ordered from Denver Doll Emporium, it also came with a certificate from them, and that one will go with the body, which is the second most at-risk part. The parts that don't get an original receive a photocopy of the others and the original order information. And that way, if there are ever any questions about the legitimacy of the parts, if the owners choose to sell them later on, the buyers can either consult the dealer the doll was purchased from, or reach out to me to confirm that the parts are real. If you're just getting started with BJD collecting, that might sound a little extreme for a doll, but these are very expensive collector's items, and not having paperwork that supports the doll's authenticity can negatively impact the doll's long-term value. So a lot of collectors take this part very seriously. Once the parts are sorted, everything gets wrapped up and repackaged for shipping. Every package has to be measured and weighed. Since I ship a lot of signed books already, I have a postal scale and packaging materials at home, so shipping is pretty easy for me to do. If you don't have these things on hand though, you'd be responsible for visiting the post office for estimates to provide to split participants. Managing a split can be a lot of time and effort, and sometimes the host will charge extra fees for their time. After I have weights and measurements for all the packages, I calculate costs for postage and insurance fees, not just with the postal service, but with couriers like UPS and FedEx, and I let my participants know what their options are. As soon as their shipping costs are paid, their doll parts go into the mail. It might be a few weeks before I get my replacement heel feet from Fairyland, but in the meantime, my friend graciously offered to let me keep the pair that did come in, and we'll just wait to ship her part of this split until my replacement comes. Because she's not in any hurry, and I really appreciate that. Things might not have worked out exactly how I envisioned, and managing a split order for a $1,000 doll was a lot of work. But at least now I've got extra hands and feet for Firal, and I can start blushing this to match my doll right away. That's all for today though. Thanks for watching. Bye.